close the show today, unfortunately, with this special guest. Apparently, we had to bring him on, see if he even shows up. Well, there he is.
Stubbs, this is just for you.
Waiting on Olentangy Orange head coach Anthony Calo, his first appearance on the drive to Dayton. Oh, there he is. Look at that.
What's up, guys?
Wow.
You had to go throw the polo on, man. I know that look.
This is went straight from class to practice to home look.
Oh man.
He had
I don't envy you.
He had the Calo cut off on after a few. The old man get a few bicep curls in, throw the polo on.
My sleeves are not rolled up like my old man. I can tell you that right now. He's a little stronger than I am.
Well, Coach Calo, I've known you for quite a while. Before your days at Olentangy Orange, you were screaming and yelling at Westerville South guys. And to be honest with you, I never thought you would leave there. And then when you took the Orange job, I knew it was only a matter of time before you put your blueprint on that program. But here you are. How do you, is the program where you envisioned it would be when you took this job? Or are you still trying to get to somewhere?
Oh man, big question, Kurt. Yeah, I mean, you're never satisfied, but I certainly wouldn't say we're content with where we are, but I think we've come a long way. I think our staff is proud of how far we've gotten in the last few years. It's like 7 winning years in a row. Mm-hmm. Last year, obviously, the Elite Eight appearance, and lost a lot, and here we are. So I think we're proud of the work we've done, but certainly not satisfied, not content. Always striving for our best performance every day.
I think the crazy thing about your team this year is you lost 3 scholarship guards off that team last year. And that's really hard to replace.
Yeah.
Those guys did a lot for you. And you told me in the summer you had a really good JV team last year. And then, you had Devin coming back, and he's made a huge, huge leap. Are you even a little bit surprised where this team is currently based off of what you lost last year?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you would have told me at the end of last season, in our 20 minutes after our regional final loss, if you would have said you're sitting at 16-0 and number one in the A people, which A people is A people, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But like, if you would have said you're sitting at 16-0, I would have said, get the heck out of here. Did I believe in? And that's not. And our guys know, like our current guys know. I got a lot of belief in them. But like you said, it's really challenging to lose 3 scholarship guards and 7 great seniors, and to reboot that quickly. But yeah, I mean, I would say though, in the summer, we went 4-0 at Midwest Live. And at that point, guys, I knew we were on something special. From the beginning, our kids wanted to write their own narrative. They wanted to write their own story. They had confidence in each other, confidence in themselves. And after Midwest Live, it started, like, it felt okay. Like the expectations kind of changed a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Certainly a bit of a surprise. But as the farther we've gotten into this, got a ton of belief in this team. So, doing a great job.
And Coach, we talked, in private about the improvement that junior Devin Brown has had, and just the major leap that he took from not only last season to this season, but hell, I think even just from this past summer to now, I think he's made a pretty significant jump. How important do you think it was for him to play behind those seniors last year, kind of learn to, kind of figure out what his role was, mold into it, and then step into, those shoes as a junior?
Yeah, super important, TJ. Devin was in a real, I would say Devin arguably is our fourth best player last year behind those 3 scholarship guys. We had other guys that played valuable roles, but, overall Devin was our 4th best player last year. But it was a fairly safe role. You know what I mean? Like he was 3 scholarship guards who took most of the shots. Devin averaged like 7 points a game as a sophomore on a team that went 24-4. So he had a very good year. And he had big games too, right? Like he had over 20 versus DeSales. He had some big nights. But yeah, man, he's taken huge leaps. And I think it really helped to those guys helped him in a ton of ways. And he's really tight with those guys. But I think for our program, it was huge because to me, those 3 scholarship guys were really talented, but they were also really great teammates and really selfless. And just as a coach, the way you want it done. And I think they modeled a lot of really positive things for Devin, the preparation, the hard work, the being an elite player, but also a great teammate who has a lot of humility. And he's just really taken the reins from them. And from the beginning, from Midwest Live, our coaching staff's been blown away with Devin's leadership. So I think, whatever they did, he caught it and has put his own stamp on it. And it's been really fun to watch his maturation process.
Coach, you guys started 2 sophomores at the guard spot. Levi Davis last year was a role guy off the bench, is also a very talented football player. And then you also start a sophomore, Trayton Schroeder, who was a key part of your unbeaten JV team. How important is it to have a kid like Schroeder who comes from JV and is ready to go from day one, and also a kid like Levi Davis who excels at another sport and I guess could easily just focus on football in the winter, but he's out here on the hardwood helping you win games and does a lot of little things and makes a lot of toughness plays for you guys to help you guys win?
Yeah. What's the exact question, Mike? Sorry.
Just how both of those kids were just ready to compete for you guys with, Levi limited varsity experience last year and then Trayton coming from the JV level. Yeah,
both those guys grew up in our youth program. Trayton came in, I think, 5th grade, and Levi's been playing with our travel guys since 3rd grade. And Coach Taylor actually is a varsity assistant, and he was their youth coach because he has a kid their age. And so we knew about those guys for a long time. Coming to our youth camp too, really excited to coach those guys for a while now. Thought they could be special, and they've turned out to be pretty special. But they're, I think, the football thing helps both of them. I think both those kids are really tough, good athletes. Trayton was actually 3rd team All-State defensive back as a sophomore, set the school record for interceptions. And both have good instincts, good athletes, pressure the ball really well. I'm hoping when it's all said and done, they'll be the best 2 on-ball defenders I've ever coached, and I think there's a real chance at that. They just set the tone up top on the ball and do a really good job. As you guys know, if you can contain the ball and pressure the ball, it makes a big difference for your squad.
Coach, I know you come from a coaching family and you know how to answer questions. But what is the one thing we were on the doorstep last year in Athens? You tasted. It was this close. What is the one thing that has to happen this year for you to get over that hump and show up at UD Arena? What is the one thing that has to happen?
Yeah. So the one thing that has to happen, before I answer the one thing that has to happen, I got to say, love the show. It's a great show, drive to Dayton, but I was hoping my first drive to Dayton would have been last year after we beat your Pickerington Central Tigers, but unfortunately we couldn't get that done. But yeah, the one thing that has to happen, I think it's just, I don't know, sorry, my son's wilding over there. He's distracting me, my 3-year-old. But I think he just screamed. My wife told me knock it off, and he said, but he's my dad. Anyway, the one thing that has to happen. Sorry. The one thing that has to happen, I think there are some teams that, I hope this doesn't take our kids off. I don't think it will. We talked about it today. I recognize there's some teams more talented than us overall. So our just relentlessness with our focus and our discipline, I think that's what got us to this point. And, we just can't get fat and happy. We got to continue to, it's okay if there's more talented teams on paper is what I'm saying. We have to make sure that our teamwork and our discipline are just on point. Maybe we don't have as much margin for error as a Garfield Heights or somebody like that, right? Like we got to make sure our discipline and our teamwork are exceptional.
Coach, the one game I was at this year was against Hilliard Bradley, and it went down to the wire. You guys are going to rematch with them in, I believe it's next Friday. It's definitely going to be for the conference championship. What are the keys to that game without looking too far ahead for your two games that you have this week?
Yeah, a lot of respect for that Bradley squad, as I'm a fan of the game like you guys, like it's my brother and I love to do predictions, right? Like I like to do my top 15 Central Ohio before the season, just like, you guys do. And I bring that up because coming into the year, I thought Bradley had as good of a chance to make it out of our region as anybody. So, got a lot of respect for the program, really disciplined, a lot of teamwork, like I referenced that we try to have. But, that game versus Bradley should be a great basketball game. You were at the first one, Roth, right? It was a fun game. And, obviously when it comes to Bradley, you got to talk about Cade Norris. Exceptional player. Cade murdered us last year, unfortunately. He had, I think he averaged 30 and a half a game in 2 games last year versus the Pioneers. We only had 4 losses on the year. And Cade and the Bradley Jaguars were 2 of them. So they had our number last year. Very good team. They're hitting their stride right now. They're playing typical Bradley disciplined team basketball right now. So it's going to be a grind. I'm not going to get into the game plan too much, but we got some things that are really important to us that we'll have to take care of in that game. Yeah.
Coach, we had a segment earlier in the show during Buy or Sell when we were looking at, all the remaining unbeaten teams here in Ohio. We were trying to figure out which teams, had the best chance of, running the tables and, who would lose games this week and so on and so on. And I kind of brought up a point. I think it'd be interesting to hear from someone who's in those shoes right now. As a coach, you never want to lose a game. But do you kind of, you're not too mad if you guys drop one off the rest of the way?
So it's funny. I'll answer that question because I've been answering it a lot. But did all 3 of you guys sell on us? Buy or sell? Did we get sold by all 3 of you guys?
We got you. We got you.
You bought.
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of the way, though, brother.
So, yeah, I get the theories, right? I get it. I think a couple things. I think we've had a couple wins that have hopefully refocused us that we're a little hairy, need to be a little tougher. But then, I get it. I understand how a loss could refocus you, make you a little hungrier, reset you, whatever the case may be. But my buddy, I joke about it at work, good friend of mine. I was like, let's play this out, okay? You don't want to lose a league game because if you lose a league game, Bradley only has 1 loss and you can lose your league. So you don't want to lose a league game. Well, our first non-league game is Pick Central, who put us out in the regional semi last year. You don't want to lose to them. Then you have an Olentangy team who's 10-6 and a rival of yours. You don't want to lose to them in a non-league game. And the rest is league until you get to DeSales at 21-0. And do you really want to be 21-0 and lose your final game right before the tournament? You know what I mean? So, as we play that out, I can't pick one of those games where I'm like, yup, I would love to lose that one. So it's I get it, but let's just learn from some wins right now and do our best to keep this going.
All right, Coach, I'm gonna end it. I know you got dad, husband, all those good things to do. 2 questions for you. One, if you had to pick 3 teams in Central Ohio right now, outside of yourself, that are very scary, who would they be? And then the biggest question of the show is, how does a guy wearing purple get in for free on Saturday night?
Oh man, that second one, I just don't think that's gonna happen for you, brother. Just kidding, I'll get you on there. But and if any of you guys are coming, just let me know. Always. Oh man, the first one I feel like it's a setup. I'm gonna end up on bulletin boards, guys. 3 teams.
No, yeah, just you and you don't have to be 3. Just teams that you think are scary. Like if you were just a guy watching ball, who
we're talking Central Ohio. We're talking
yeah,
state.
Central Ohio.
Okay. I mean, looking at the sheer amount of Division I players, Brownsburg has the most, right? Like from a talent perspective, from the beginning, everyone knew. Well, it's funny because I don't know. I feel like in a lot of preseason stuff, Brownsburg didn't get picked as much as I would have thought. And I'm like, guys, when you have multiple guys with scholarship, Division I scholarship offers, talent's going to take you. And I think Andy is a good coach as well. So, obviously from a talent perspective, I got Brownsburg. Delaware's playing exceptional. Delaware only has 1 loss, right, guys?
Yep.
And they're battle tested. 2 wins versus Westfield North. They play Westfield South again. I think they're probably had a little bit of. I don't think Coach Vincenzo would be offended by this. Probably had some chemistry things to work through with Landon coming over. But it seems like they're starting to figure that out at this point. And when you have 2 six plus Division I players with really good role players around you, you're gonna have a chance. So I would have Delaware, and I think Bradley is exceptional. So no disrespect to anyone else out there, but with Cade and the surrounding cast, just knowing how to play so well with Cade, Coach Norris, and getting those guys to play so disciplined and tough, I guess my answer would be those 3. No disrespect to anybody else.
Is there anyone?
There's obviously a lot of other really good teams as well.
Is there anyone you think people are sleeping on that you think could make some noise come tournament time?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of good sleepers out there.
Grove City, one of them.
Yeah, I thought Grove City played us very tough. New Albany's playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
They've certainly improved. I got a ton of respect for Coach Casey over there. Westfield North's got a lot of talent, and they got chemistry together. I think Big Walnut, I think they're better than people realize. And obviously my dad's squad with Cruz and, any team coached by my dad, I'm never going to rule them out. So, yeah.
Well, Coach, man, we really appreciate you jumping on here with us and taking some time out of your night. And God willing, I'll probably see you on Saturday, man.
Send me a text. I'll get you on there,
yeah.
even with that flag in the background.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, appreciate your guys' work, man. I think Ohio has great basketball, and just appreciate you creating awareness. And I don't know, it's fun listening to you guys. It shows that you love some hoops, and I do too. So it's just fun to listen to you guys chop it up.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
See you guys. Thanks.